Streamed in over 50 countries.
We have to say hello to Nigel in Hong Kong, who's single-handedly managed to get us to, wait for this, Dan, number 9 on the Apple podcast charts for British football shows in Hong Kong.
Over 40 guest interviews and counting.
We would like to welcome to the St Johnstone podcast ex-Scotland internationalist and all-round hero Del Boy John O'Neill. It's the Dogger Saints' pleasure to introduce Liam Craig, Michael Jubilee, the St Johnstone legend Stephen Anderson. How you doing, buddy? You okay?
I'm alright, just doing away as usual.
Hall of Fame member Nick Dazovic.
How you guys doing?
Over £3,000 worth of terrible merchandise discussed.
But it is a dog waste bag dispenser with a Bournemouth badge on it.
Join Sam and Dan as they chat about the mighty Perth St Johnstone.
Stephen Anderson scores! It's come through to McLean. He has scored!
It's on the clock! It's in! It is unbelievable! Doughty Rooney! And what is it about Sean Rooney and cup finals?
It's the Dogger Saints Podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back. It's episode 43 of the Dogger Saints podcast. We bring you all things St Johnstone and we're trying to be positive as possible considering we're in our natural position for December, root of the table. But we go again, and by we, I mean me, Sam Miller, and Danny Williams.
How we doing, pal?
Tip top. Delighted to be spending another evening chatting St Johnstone with you, Daniel.
There's very few things I enjoy more in life than chatting the Saints with you, Sam. But I mean, chatting the Saints at the minute, it's a bit of a tough wank, but
yeah, it is. So we'll try and avoid the football as much as possible, but we have got a laden episode full of delicious treats for your earlugs.
Oh, it's gonna be big time. It's gonna be mega. It's gonna be chicka-junga.
I've heard,
and we're going to try and lift everyone's spirits.
That is our aim for this one, and we have got a superb guest in Paul Cherry. Now, I've listened back to it. It's great. It's a wee bit echoey because he lives in a big mansion in Spain, but he was absolutely superb, and some stories from the guy.
One of the all-time great guys, and I can't wait for everyone to hear this interview.
Yep, and thanks again for everybody for listening to the Murray Davison interview last week on our kind of relaunch. It wasn't a lot of the same old features, but not thanks to the Sun though for just basically running with our interview.
Oh yeah, that was good of him. Loved seeing something I put my name to in the Sun. That was great. But yeah, Murray was superb, and we've had so much lovely feedback on the interview and on just on the sort of little revamp we had in general. So no, thanks to everyone for getting in touch, and please continue to do so because it is very much trial and error for us.
It is, but one thing that will be coming this week is Wendy Who, our mystery voice competition. We've got a guest lined up, a contestant, some would say, to try and win a Dogger Saints goodie bag, but also it includes now, Dan, an AFC Bournemouth dog poo bag holder. Who doesn't want one of them?
I mean, even if you're not going to keep it for yourself, it's Christmas time. You will be in a minority if you're the person who doesn't want it.
Exactly right. So our first contestant this week, Gary, will be joining us. Basically, we're going to put all the names in a hat going forward, but he was the very first person to message in with his guest, so we thought, fair enough, we'll give him the run-the-mill, but every week going forward, we are just going to pick a name at random, and you can have a chance to come on, unless Gary wins it first, straight out the bat.
Could do. You never know.
You never know, so we will get him on very, very shortly. We're also going to talk about the Aberdeen game. We are going somewhere in the world to speak to a St Johnstone fan. Where might they be? Who knows? Well, I know.
Yeah, I know, but the listeners don't, so let's not ruin the illusion.
The Club Shop of Shame takes us to the Lakeside, or the Ali Pali if you prefer, via Leeds.
I mean, the hot spots of the sporting world. Brimley Green, Muswell Hill, Leeds.
Winter Gardens.
Oh, the Winter Gardens. Many a happy night spent watching the arrers in the Winter Gardens, son.
Love it. We used to go every year down there, Lynn, for the World Match Play. What a great night that was. That's when I met Eric Bristow.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yes, dead. Dead celebrity. The new button is back. I felt it was lacking last week, not having the celebration button. Screech from Saved by the Bell was our first dead celebrity of the new relaunch, and we followed that up this week with serial homophobe Eric Bristow, R.I.P.
What you're going to say, serial world title winner, but
No.
serial homophobe was a more accurate twist. And yeah, if it makes you feel any better about using the celebration butter, Eric Bristow was a bit of a shit.
He really was. But there was a game of football at the weekend. Now, we like to record the podcast on a Sunday or Monday to kind of digest all the facts. No knee-jerk reactions. If we did this podcast like a lot of them do on a Saturday night straight after the game, it would be doom and gloom. Now, should we just get into the match?
If we have to, yeah.
Yeah. We lost 1-0 to Aberdeen. A lot of people came off saying it was awful performance. I don't agree with that. I thought we played all right.
No, I'm with you. I thought we were a little bit hard done by, to be perfectly honest, and that's maybe not going to be a popular opinion, but I thought we had the better of the play in the second half, certainly. What I would say is even though we did have the better of the play, we still didn't create a lot.
No. We created more than we have done.
We created one chance. Rooney
took a shot. Bryson hit a header, which should have maybe been a penalty when Kane was dragged down. Kane hit the post. Rooney from distance.
That's been overlooked, that.
Yeah, I was on sports. Even then, I watched it and I thought after the game, I seen that was absolutely awful. Two awful teams. And I was thinking to myself, I've not got blue tinted spectacles on here. I thought we played all right, and I was backed up by our favourite sex tipper, Shelley Kerr, who again also agreed that St Johnstone played pretty well. But just same old story. Just can't get the ball in the back of the net.
I actually thought, and again, it's probably not going to be a popular opinion or an opinion that's sort of widely shared. I actually thought for large periods of that game there was green shoots and recovery there. Maybe I'm clutching at straws. I don't know, because Aberdeen weren't very good either.
No, they weren't very good at all. But there's some big games coming up. But the goal they did score though was should have been ruled out. No question about it.
An absolute catastrophe. It was a catastrophe refereeing decision. I mean, Kim Ray Charles could have seen that was handball, and he's blind and dead. So, not for Ray. It looks so obvious. I mean, yeah, there's two things that I will come back to. One, the thing that I always say is there's enough happens in a game of football, or enough can happen to account for a poor refereeing decision, and we didn't make enough happen. But there's also the fact that you should play to the whistle, but it's natural instinct. Anyone that's played football at Sunday League, juniors, amateurs, Sunday League, in five-a-side down at Bells, if you see something that blatant, it is a natural reaction to stop and to appeal. Yeah, it was a frustrating one, that it really was. There's been a couple this season. I think I probably went a bit OTT about the Celtic one in the Cup semi-final, because actually looking back on that, it probably wasn't a completely clear-cut decision or an easy spot even. That one, we're talking about VAR. I don't really think VAR was particularly required for that.
No, not at all. There's 4 officials. We could see it from where we were sat. Especially the camera behind the goal. Just the ball hit his arm and literally dropped dead on the ground for him to kind of toe bash home from there. It was a shocker decision. These are the things that we aren't getting the rub of the green at the moment, but people were saying that likes of Rooney and Liam Craig were losing their head. I thought they're just passionate for trying to put up with dealing with a shit ref.
Yeah, Liam, I actually think he's better than even money to get a booking. Every game, and it's always for the same thing. Rooney lets it go in a different way, which is maybe not particularly helpful, but he just gets frustrated and then the head goes down and he starts charging about. We're in a tough spot, and it is difficult to see at times a way out of it because we're not playing particularly well. I do think we still need to have a little bit of perspective here, and I know it's frustrating and I know the results haven't been good enough, but there's not really a lot we can do until January anyway, and it is painfully obvious that reinforcements are going to be needed because the squad's just not deep enough.
One point I'll mention about Saturday, though, about how this transfers haven't been great. Our starting 11, only Ali Crawford wasn't there last season. 10 of the 11 starters last season were all first teamers.
I actually thought, give Liam Craig and Craig Bryson immense credit. I thought that was the first time, and it wasn't perfect, but I thought it was the first time in quite a while that we've had the semblance of actually sort of winning a game in midfield. Yeah. And obviously we didn't win the game, but we looked a little bit more like the better team in the middle of the park. Admittedly, we were up against Scott Brown, who is a Haddy, but
he got in Vertairen's head pretty quickly, didn't he?
I know, and that's the frustrating thing, because he can't play football anymore. Scott Brown. He's not got the legs. He doesn't look like he's particularly got the inclination to pass the ball more than 4 yards. So he's like the angry, bitter old guy who still turns up to Power League on a Tuesday night and can't play football anymore. So stands in the middle of the park kicking 21-year-olds. So that's what he is, he's a wind-up merchant. And I've no doubt that he obviously offers something. I don't know what it is, but football clubs seem to really like having him there. So he must offer something, but it looked like on the pitch, he just saw his chance to get in someone's head with E2, because he wasn't going to get in Liam Craig or Craig Bryson's heads.
No.
Because of experienced footballers. But you get a young lad who doesn't really know who he is, I'm going to assume. Because I doubt Scott Brown's big in Finland. And yeah, he just got wound up by him, and then he managed to sort of half take E2 out of Etu, I should say, out of the game in one foul swoop, just by winding him up.
Yeah, wind up a lot of people. My favourite ever shout, though, at a football game came from about 3 rows back. Dave Fleming listens to the show. I don't know if you'll remember this, though, but the best shout I've ever heard at a football game was, I don't know who he was shouting at, but he just went, "Fuck me, you." Like,
Callum Beef.
Fuck me, you. I still can't work it out. It was brilliant. It was
a bit all over the shop, but I liked it.
A fine bit of insultery. So, but another big game on Wednesday. Rangers, we know we can do it at Ibrox. It's not going to be easy, though, let's be honest.
We can do it. Well aware we can go to Ibrox and get a result.
We're not shipping loads of goals.
We're not. You know what? I said, actually, the Ross County game was the perfect opportunity because they were bottom of the league, like in terms of getting a run going. You know what? Weirdly, this might be the game for them.
Who knows? It could be. Motherwell's another big game on Saturday, but I have no doubt that we will get a run together.
Yeah, we're not being naive. We both know that it is entirely more likely that we lose at Ibrox than we get some sort of result. It can be the sort of thing, pull off a shock and then it sets you on your way. We've had some reinforcements arrive today.
Yep.
Jacob Butterfield signing until the end of the season, which I'll be honest with you, I don't know an awful lot about the lad. I know he was a bit of a big name in the Championship, drifted around quite a few big clubs there.
He was a £4 million signing at some point, was it? For
4.5, he went to Derby County for.
That's incredible.
Admittedly, judging things on the business dealings of Derby County maybe isn't a great measure, but
fair.
He flitted about a lot of clubs who were sort of chasing for promotion. He's been at Norwich, he's been at Derby County, I think he was at Nottingham Forest. He's 30 years old, so he's not a kid, but he's not exactly ancient.
Who's your favourite field? Jacob Butterfield, Jeff Horsfield, or Sally Fields, the actress that played Forrest Gump's mum?
Yeah, not Sally Field, because whenever Smokey and the Bandit or Forrest Gump was on, my dad would make a big deal about how much he fancies Sally Field, and it used to creep me out. I'm going to flip the question around on you. What's your favourite butter? Jacob Butterfield, Lurpak, or Butters from South Park?
Oh, all fine choices. Yeah, I do like Lurpak, but to be fair, we shop at Lidl or Aldi, so we always get Norpak.
Norpak.
the cheap alternative.
I'm going Butters from South Park.
Yeah, a fine choice. But shall we move on? Shall we do a competition?
Yeah, come on. Let's get some not talking about Saints being rubbish.
Yes, let's just do that. So, it's Wendy Who. What a theme tune, by the way.
Wendy, Wendy Who, Wendy Who, yeah. Wendy, Wendy Who, Wendy Who, yeah. Who's it gonna be? Wendy Who, Wendy Who, yeah. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Who is it going to be? We will find out very soon, hopefully, with our first contestant. But if you've never heard us before, it's our St. Johnstone mystery player voice. So here's the clip.
Hi, and I'm the Dog of Saints mystery voice.
Who could it be? Who could it be?
Well, you've led me nicely on there, because I'm not going to give anything away about who it could be. But I want to say a word for that theme tune.
Go on.
It's world class.
That's 2 words.
Well, I can think of another phrase that's 2 words that I'm tempted to say in a minute, but I won't, because I'm trying to portray a clean-cut image.
Fair.
No, again, massive thanks to Jason for coming up with yet another theme tune for us, and B, being a big, beautiful, weirdo genius and coming up with a big, beautiful, weirdo genius of a theme tune.
It really is. But we need a contestant to try and guess who it is. It's all good, and good playing out the clip, but I'll play it one more time.
Hi, and I'm the Dogger Saints mystery voice.
Please note that it's not embarking. He does say his name there, but we've blanked it out.
Yeah. As was stated last week,
yes.
I don't think we've ever had a dog play for St Johnstone.
Let's get our first contestant on. It's Gary Mitchell. We've got him on the phone right now. How you doing, my friend? Are you okay?
I'm not too bad, Sam. How's yourself?
All the better for hearing your bloody lovely voice, Gary.
Oh, you charming man.
Well, I do try. Whereabouts in the world are you?
I'm in Edinburgh.
Lovely.
I live there now.
Yes, you do. Well, we're pretending back and forth that we don't know each other. We do. But the reason you're on, guys, is you were the very first person to message in for a shot. So we thought that's the fairest way to do it. You were the first person in. So we thought we would give you a chance to name the St Johnstone mystery player. Now, you've thought of somebody who you think it might be?
I have indeed, yes.
Good. I will play the clip again, just for your knowledge, to see if you maybe had a last minute change.
Hi, and I'm the Dogger Saints mystery voice.
Ooh. To win a St Johnstone prize bundle, you will win mugs, you will win a badge, you will win a t-shirt, you will win a candle set, because we've still got shitloads of them. You will also win an AFC Bournemouth dog poo bag holder. That's
Gary,
what you were really after.
In your life, pal.
I tell you what, I am very keen for this AFC Bournemouth doggy bag thing, because I feel I can stick the bairns' nappy bags in it, so it will go to good use to win.
There you go. You don't need a dog. Like a baby. You could,
Exactly.
if you're just into sandwiches, you could wrap them at a whim. There's all types of bags you can put in this. Ice cube bags if you like hosting parties. Oh, the possibilities are endless. The possibilities are
It's the
endless.
gift that keeps on giving.
It really isn't, Gary. But right, so you've heard the clip. Who do you think the Dogger Saints mystery voice is?
Well, Sam and Dan, I'm going to have a guess that is a player from back in the 90s, and his name is Roddy Grant.
Are you ready to lock in the answer? Roddy Grant, are you locking him in?
I'm locking him in, Sam.
Right, let's find out if this
Hi, and I'm the Dogger Saints mystery voice.
is Roddy Grant. Oh no, that's the wrong button. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, guys, it's not Roddy Grant. It is not, but a valiant attempt, and we can tick him off the list. We'll put up a new list of people who it's not. It's a very short list so far. It's got Roddy Grant in it, but a good shout. But as we progress, we want to get this one before Christmas, but I very much doubt it will be. But we will give some clues out as it goes on, but it is not Roddy Grant. There'll be another chance for somebody else to win it next week. But guys, thank you very much for playing.
Oh, thank you for having me, boys. I'm a bit disappointed, but such is life. I'll try again down the line.
Good man.
You're welcome anytime, guys.
Thank you, Dan.
What a guy. Thanks, Gary.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
See ya.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, well, that was nice, wasn't it? That's a great start to proceedings.
I know, it's good because we've still got a prize now going forward at least. Because I had visions of Gaz just coming on and getting that.
Imagine that would have been an absolute nightmare. All this effort and work to try and get this brilliant football player to record us a voice message and for it to be won in week one. But maybe next week. Could be you. If you think you know who it is, all the usual social streams, Instagram. Don't tell us who you think it is. Just give us your number and we will add you to the pot, and every week we'll refresh it and then we'll get you on. Sound good?
Yeah, I think that's the best way of doing it.
I think so. But if you think you know who this voice is, last time I'll play it.
Hi, and I'm the Dogger Saints mystery voice.
Let's move on.
What's the shop? Club shop of shame. What's the shop? Club shop of shame. What's the shop? Club shop of shame. What's the shop? Shame.
It is the Club Shop of Shame, where we discuss the merchandise that football teams up and down the length and breadth of the country are hawking. And most of the time, it's absolutely garbage.
Oh, they hawk some absolute steaming shite.
And this week is no different, Dan.
Oh, you better believe it, boy. But I'm just gonna do a little bit of a preface here. 'Tis the season, art season. World Championships at the Ali Pali start on Wednesday. And it's that time of year also, with Christmas and all that, people start thinking, watch a bit of the World Championship and they think, yeah, maybe, I'll get a board, stick it up in the garage or in the spare room or something like that. Now, if you have those thoughts and you are also unfortunate in life to be a fan of Leeds United, then my dear friends, we've got just the thing for you. You are covered as we present the Leeds United Crest dartboard.
Terrible. Well,
yeah. But you might be thinking lads, you're getting a bit picky here and a bit snooty. But bear with us. Because, I'll describe the product. It does what it says on the tin. It's a dartboard. It's got a couple of Leeds badges by the 11 and the 6. And it's got on the top, where it'd say like Winmore or Unicorn or Target, whatever they use. So that says Leeds United, and then along the bottom, Marching On Together, which is the Leeds song. Right, so that's that.
Did you ever hear the song, sorry to butt in very quickly, the Leeds United Calypso?
Did they do a Calypso?
Yeah, and it was pretty racist.
Yeah, I do remember that, actually.
Leeds United Calypso. I think it was from the 70s, but they don't know where I'm going to see if I can find it.
Oh, yeah, I do remember this, because he just copied the Manchester United Calypso, which wasn't racist.
You carry on.
Right. So I'm going to go to the description. Or as Leeds' website have put it, product info. Product code DART21001.
That means nothing.
There's no description.
That means nothing. So that is a description. Product info.
Yeah.
So it's just a picture of a dartboard. Does it come with darts?
Don't know.
Okay.
Doesn't. Sam, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it doesn't come with darts. It doesn't come with a surround. Delivery. Oh, they've gone big on delivery. We ship everywhere.
Good.
In capitals and with an exclamation mark. Because Leeds fans are all over the globe. We ship all over the globe. Please click here to visit. Prices start at $4.99 for UK. Yeah, right. No, I'm not getting anything out of that. They've also gone big on the returns policy. They like an exclamation mark at the Leeds marketing department.
They certainly do.
Right. So we've established here that it's just a board. There's no surround on it. Or no surround comes with it. And you don't get your little brass dobbers.
Your flights.
The
things that are like the actual dart end.
Yeah. The sort of little brass dobbers, 8 gram brass dobbers that you get when you buy a dartboard. Now, I happen to know that if you get a dartboard, you can get a sort of really high quality sort of pub board, home board, whatever, with a surround. You can get one of them for about 40 odd quid. Maybe looking at about 50 with everything in. If you don't want your little cabinet and a decent quality board, if you want your Leeds United Marching On Together dartboard with wires that look like they have come out of Colditz, you can do that for 65 quid.
Wow, just for the standard dartboard.
I mean, we're not quite talking sort of some of the levels we've had on here in terms of price and in terms of useless crap for really high price. But by comparison...
Yes, it's exactly the word I was going to use, comparison compared to what you can get.
That is a stinker. Now, I'll admit, I don't really need a lot of excuse to stick the boot into Leeds United, but I think this is a pretty reasonable excuse to stick the boot into Leeds United. The best of it is, Sam, the one bit of information I have got on it, out of stock.
So it's sold out?
It's sold out, yeah.
That's incredible. But while we were chatting away there, I found the Leeds United Calypso racist verse. Are you ready to hear it?
Men and Scotsmen too, and our goalie called Sprig. From Wales, look you, Albert Johansson is one of the few. I don't know where he comes from, but I think it's Timbuktu. In the Leeds United Calypso, sing it now, Leeds United.
Yeah. I don't know where he's from, but it could be Timbuktu. That's fairly racist, I feel.
Wow.
Yeah, can't get away with that. Even sticks a bit into Wales at one point as well.
Well, fair enough. But my surname's Williams. I can get away with a little joke in the Welsh.
That is it. Yeah, you can get away with that. But yeah,
you might as well be singing "Send the Buggers Back."
Half a shilling.
Oh, shilling. Oh,
a weekly Phoenix Night reference. Yeah.
There we go. Right.
Yeah.
So that's that.
I think so. I think that, what more can we say on the Leeds United dartboard at 65 quid with no description, no darts. But for 65 quid, I actually Googled it and did a wee bit of backward research there and found out you can get a Winmow, which is a top of the range dartboard, in a cabinet, like with chalkboard either side, 6 darts, the full shooting show for 65 quid.
And that'll be probably the top of the sort of range board.
Yeah. But no, if you want a Leeds United racist dartboard.
I mean, we've not covered darts, something we both greatly enjoy, in a lot of glory tonight, because we've brought up about Bristol being, as someone that was possibly me described him, a bit of a shit. And now we've managed to conflate, and albeit very tenuously, the Leeds United dartboard with racism.
Yeah, frightening. We need some suggestions of things you might need to look out for in the world of football merchandise. And the one man I know that can give you the examples is sitting opposite me here. It's Danny Williams.
Sam, listeners, I'll admit, this week's Club Shop of Shame got a little bit out of hand. This week's episode might have even got a little bit out of hand. But that doesn't mean I can't come to you with valuable consumer information. Now, Sam, listeners, you'll have all seen today in the draw for the Gazprom, sometimes known as the Champions League.
The glorious Gazprom.
The glorious Gazprom. That UEFA made a little bit of a complete and utter bollocks of it.
Yeah, they really did.
They made a bit of a mess of it, and they had to redraw. But this got me thinking, right? How could they have avoided this situation? Not blaming it on, for a start, not blaming it on the on a technical difficulty when they're literally drawing balls out of pots.
How difficult can that be?
Well, quite.
Yeah, clearly.
However, that could have been nipped in the bud before we started, because there's only one place where you need to look at: the world leader in helping them avoid such a situation. And that is the glorious world of the football, Scottish football. That's right. Listeners, I know it's out there. You know it's out there. We all know it's out there. And if you've seen it, you send a little copy to the folks at UEFA. And that is a copy of the Scottish Football Guide to Doing a Cup Draw. We are world leaders in it. Rod Stewart doing it pissed out of his nut in the Scottish Cup draw, causing absolute chaos. The Lowland League Cup draw this season, when they were drawing it out of a cement mixer.
Amazing.
We are world leaders in not only getting a successful draw going, but doing it with some pizzazz, with some style, with absolute patter. And I think it's out. I think they've written a guide on it. Forward by Alan Stubbs on how to play the straight man in such a situation.
I watched that back today, actually, because the guy I worked with, Kevin, never seen it before. And when you are joking, and Alan Stubbs is just trying to hold it together. It's incredible.
I like how actually the best part of that was the one time it did actually go to pot or go wrong was when Alan Stubbs was the one behind it, because he got a 6 and a 9 upside down.
Made a right cunt of that, yep.
He did. So Rod, absolutely levered and playing silly beggars. Seamless.
Amazing.
Alan Stubbs stood there in a 3-piece suit, made a whole of it.
He did indeed. But if somebody does see that, how could they get in touch?
Oh, Sam, they can get in touch with us by all the usual social streams. I'm aching to know, yearning to know when you've seen this down at your local bookseller. And when you see it, you come and let the boys know. And this is how you let us know. You come and let us know. Dog Saints on Instagram, Dog Saints on Twitter, dogsaints.com, the contact section, and the old Facey B. Don't you go sliding into the DMs of some randomer who like you comment on a restaurant's page that you were complaining about. It can only lead to a bad place, the divorce court. And nobody wants to go there.
Certainly not.
And so when you come, I don't even think there is a divorce court. Anyway, but you come and see it, it's in America. But a solicitor is very expensive. So you can avoid all that by listening to the boys. And when you do see the Scottish Football Guide to Doing a Cup Draw, you come and let us know. Ooh, get there!
Right, let's move out of this terribly murky, horrible world of divorce and racist football clubs. Let's go to someplace a lot less controversial. It's George O'Boyle and the Royal. Nothing controversial about our George, but the feature, George O'Boyle and the Royal. Where have you seen St Johnstone players? What have they been doing? Where have they been? We have seen all sorts.
Oh, it's all been going off. Who was it who saw in Blockbuster Video?
Jim Weir.
It's always Jim Weir. I was trying to avoid Jim Weir. So I normally got a Jim Weir shifting a bed about back foot. Alamein at City Nightclub.
Good one. Who else have we seen? We've seen loads of players. Kevin Rutkovitz through McDonald's drive-through.
Ah, yeah. He got sacked this week.
He kind of quit, didn't he? He walked out.
He quit. Yeah, no, he didn't get sacked. No, that's true. I think it was a parting of ways, I think I'm going to call it.
Yeah, I think there was a heated discussion where they didn't really agree on matters and it ended pretty badly.
I like the fact that Stirling Albion published Kevin's Butch and Sundance statement, though.
It was brilliant, eh? What a statement. If you've got a chance, go to the Stirling Albion website and read Kevin Rutkovitz's parting shot at Stirling Albion. It's impressive. It's good reading.
I mean, we do need to be honest here because we've had Kevin on the podcast and he's a delightful chap.
Lovely guy.
He's one of the nicest people we have had on. And given I think everyone's a really nice person that we have on, that's saying something.
Yes, it is. So, but yeah, good luck to him. I'm sure he won't be out of a job for long. I'm sure he'll get another club. But let's go to more pressing matters. Who have we seen this week and where?
This has come to us from one of our old muckers, one of our old long-term listeners, Matthew Guthrie.
Oh, lovely Matthew. We met him in the old... it was Kirky, and we seen him at the Cup semi. He was sitting standing near us. Nice guy.
Yeah, top lad. Really lovely, lovely lad. And he's come to... It's a pretty straightforward one, but I think it asks a lot of questions. So Matt just comes in and says he's seen Paddy Craig in the Body Academy.
Fair.
There you go. I mean, it's straight, it's to the point, it's direct. And you've got to admire that. Go to the Body Academy. Where's he work on his cardio?
It's all just big weights there, eh? And those big ropes. Have you ever used them battle ropes at the gym?
Yeah, they're horrible.
Oh, geez, no for me.
They really, really hurt.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you about my latest fitness kick. I'm trying to lose 4.5 stone by July.
But you're my big husky pile of man meat.
Husky pile of man meat is pretty horrible sounding phrase.
I know, it was awful. I could have put it a better way.
But I'm trying Noom. Have you seen Noom or heard of Noom? You might have seen it through various sponsored posts on Facebook, and it always comes up. Yeah. So they basically, it's all psychological about weight loss and stuff. So got me a gym plan.
I need to start going back to the gym. I've been on 2 runs in the past 3 weeks.
I was out for a run today. It was terrible.
Oh, mine was horrible last week. I've been under the weather, admittedly, so that's been my excuse. But I've also really taken advantage of this in terms of just sitting about doing nothing. But it's funny you mentioned Noom because, as you know, I watch a bit of cricket in my spare time, and there is a company called Newman who deal in both hair loss remedies and erectile dysfunction remedies. And they have a lot of advertising space during the cricket.
Oh, I bet they do.
So what that tells you about people who watch cricket. But yeah, I mean, these marketing gurus, they know their audience. Apparently, the Leeds United marketing people are absolute geniuses because they managed to sell out a dartboard
for 65 quid. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Patrick Craig is the assistant manager at St. Pat's, or the manager out back there. This must have been ages ago he spotted him. Must have been.
Yeah, it must have been, but he still spotted him.
Well, it's a spot is a spot. If you've seen any St. Johnstone player in a gym, if you've seen a St. Johnstone player anywhere, if you're not even sure it's a St. Johnstone player, let us know. I seen Darren Jackson at the football on Saturday and Davy Irons.
Did you?
Yeah. No.
I try to block everything about Saturday out of my mind.
Oh, our friend Norrie had a macaroni pie with brown sauce, so that split the group.
That did. That was an opinion divider. I'm in favour of it.
I'm in favour of it. Brown sauce makes everything better.
Well, I get the obvious here that brown sauce and pasta is a little bit odd, but
brown sauce and cheese.
Yeah, well, that's brilliant. Brown sauce and pastry, again, brilliant. And ultimately, whacking pasta in a pie is a little bit odd. So all rules are out the window.
Right, St. Johnstone players, where have you seen them? What have they been doing? I've got a friend here, his name's Daniel, who can give us some examples of what to look out for. It might be out there. He will let you know. Dan.
Sam, listeners, all this talk of fitness, in the words of Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical. And I need to give you a couple of fucking quoting Olivia Newton-John now. This is at new depths. Anyway, you know the drill by now, folks. Saties, where have you seen them? What have they been up to?
Sorry to interrupt. Olivia Newton-John, though.
Not dead.
Oh, is she not?
No.
Who am I thinking of then?
Is she dead?
I don't know. I thought she was.
Nah, she's not dead.
Oh, oops. Anyway, sorry, I've stopped your flow. I'm good at that. I'll just shut up. You carry on, Dan. I thought there was a dead celebrity there wasn't.
No. Anyway, and he says, so all the talk of the fitness and the getting physical, it's got me thinking. I've seen Paddy Craig in the gym. Footballers generally exercise for a living anyway. But it's still got me thinking, what other sort of exercise could the Sainties be doing? What could you have seen them doing? And I'm aching to know, I'm yearning to know. I've got to know what you've seen them doing. So when you do, you come and let us know. You come and let the boys know. So if you have ever seen Roddy Grant, 90s mainstay Roddy Grant, running a marathon, you come and let us know.
That's a curveball.
20 Benson shoved in his sock. You come and let us know. Or have you ever seen one-time Sainty, Stefan Skugel? Remember him?
I do remember him, yeah.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Stefan Skugel taking part in World's Strongest Man, you also come and let us know. And you know how to let us know by now, but I'm going to tell you in case you don't know. Because then if you don't know, how can you let us know? Well, I'm going to tell you. At Dog and Saints on Instagram, at Dog and Saints on Twitter, dogandsaints.com, the contact section, and the old Facey B. Don't you go looking back through your Facebook memories, because being reminded of the absolute shite you used to post 10 years ago doesn't do you or anybody any good. And this has come from experience today.
I like to delete Facebook every now and again to make sure this horrible phenomenon does not come back to bite me on the arse.
Well, Daniel Williams has had a really good time at five-a-side tonight.
Well, that's nice. When was that from?
2008.
Nice. 2008 on Facebook. Wow, check you.
I was ahead of the curve, mate. I was ahead of the curve. But yeah. Oh, no, I didn't say, woo, get there.
Nice. Yeah, thanks for that. Right, let's move on to this. It's all around the world, and we have got our first ever international St Johnstone fan on the line. I'm very excited.
Wait.
Thanks for that. That's good bit of enthusiasm there.
Well, you know, you got to be enthusiastic, son.
You do indeed. Shall we just get straight to her?
Let's, please.
Let's do it. We'll let her unveil where she is speaking in the world. It's Niki. How you doing, Niki? You okay?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you two?
Very well, thank you. We were looking for international listeners. You sound very much Scottish. Not going to lie to you. Are you having us on here?
Yeah, it's true. I am, yeah. I'm actually sitting in Bankfoot just now. No, not at all. I am definitely Perth born and bred, but I now reside in New York in the US of A. So I am an international blue.
Yes, lovely stuff. That is exactly what we were after from this. New York, how long have you been there for?
So almost 9 years, actually. But yeah, I left Perth actually 2000. Lived in Southampton for a long time. And we've been out here since 2013. So definitely not getting the accent, but there's a few words that I definitely say with American twang. There's no way I can go into a restaurant and ask for water. It's got to be water.
Water. I was going to say, have you dropped the
tomato? Have
you dropped the T in Scotland now? Is it Scotland? Is it with a D now?
Scotland in Edinburgh.
That's it. Glasgow.
Got to let them understand you.
Something.
Sorry,
Niki. Can I ask, did you make that sort of path in life because you're a massive fan of the movie Titanic?
Well, yeah, Titanic wasn't as successful as my crossing, I guess, but I am a fan of Kate Winslet, no doubt. And I did used to live close to Mayflower Park in Southampton, so yeah, maybe there is a connection there.
There you go.
There we go. I liked her until she took up all the room on that door.
Well, that's true, actually. I mean, come on, he could have got on there.
The lad could have got on there as well.
He really could have. Poor Leo.
I'm obsessed with Titanic. You know that, Dan, don't you? I've got the signed Leonardo DiCaprio Titanic print hanging up in my bathroom, genuinely.
Yeah.
which is a bit odd, but yeah, genuinely. But
I just don't like to go into it, really, mate.
No, let's not. But anyway, let's talk about St Johnstone. So you've been in New York since 2013.
I have, but still a Saintie at heart.
Yeah, so we actually bumped into you, didn't we, at the Arbroath game? Of all the games you managed to get back over for, the Arbroath away at the start of the season was your one match you got to.
That's it. I never got to any of the glamour games. You know, I didn't make any of the European games, Galatasaray, anything like that. But just the timing of when I was able to get over because the borders reopened, I was able to do away at Arbroath. So no one can call me a glory hunter. I am there through thick and thin, because that was a terrible game, wasn't it?
It was absolutely dreadful, Niki. Yep, let's not beat around the bush with it. A lovely day out though, Dan. I think we had.
Oh, it was a rare old day out, but yeah, it was the worst game of football of all time. And the worst thing about it was it went all the way to penalties.
Where they subbed off Elliot Parish to bring on Xander Clark.
Oh, yeah.
That could have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
But
enough.
anyway, we got through that round. You can still keep in touch with the scores and that. Where did you watch the cup finals last year? Or this year, I should say.
Yeah, so this year, 2021. So we were able to watch it on TV here. We were actually able to stream it from the UK. The only thing was that we had a 2-minute delay, which was an absolute nightmare. So one of my best friends, Lindsay, she usually sits in the East Stand and she was sort of giving updates at the same time, but we're saying to her, right, just wait 90 seconds until we see what happens. But it was a nightmare when it got to the end and it was sort of 90 minutes on the TV for us. I knew it was obviously getting closer to the end. And, the tears started coming down the cheeks because I thought, we're going to do this. But the game had probably actually finished in real life. So we were able to watch it like that. But I'm also a Saints TV international subscriber, so I can actually watch all the games.
Brilliant.
So,
you have to listen to Stephen Watt every week, though.
Yes, I do. I do listen to Stephen every week. Yeah, he's actually a very good commentator. And Kieran was doing a few as well.
Yes, he has. I think it was both of them on Saturday. But that's great. That you're obviously married over there. Have you converted your husband into a Saintie?
Oh, my husband's a Saintie already. He's Perth born and bred as well.
Right, okay.
So now our connection with Saints goes back a long way, back to the 80s. I've actually got a distant relation in Willie Ormond as well. So I used to sit in the Ormond stand. I had a cat called Ormond. My husband's as big a Saintie as I am. So it was pretty easy coming over here. It was more just converting all the locals to Scottish football and to supporting the Blues as well, definitely.
Well, you've got another team over there now as well, New York City. They're doing remarkably well.
Remarkably well, doesn't believe me, this weekend was just unbelievable. We won the MLS Cup, which is the big trophy in MLS soccer. A lot of people sort of say to me, how can you have two teams? But actually it's quite easy, because if you think about Saints, when Saints were formed in 1884, none of us were about, and we'd all like to think that our granddads were part of the club, but they weren't. But when we came over to New York, they actually announced that they were starting this new club called New York City Football Club. So we thought, amazing, we can be in at the beginning from a professional football club. So we're what is called founding members. We've been there since day one.
Okay.
So we're real big passion for them. It really, Saints and NYCFC are pretty much our lives. Season ticket holders. We've been to away games with them and things like that as well. So whilst we can't see Saints in person, we do get to go to the football at least. And,
you are getting your football fix.
We do, yeah. We've got some JFC on the back of our tops and things like that. So Saints are always represented at Yankee Stadium.
Brilliant. And Ronnie Dyla is in charge there, isn't it?
He is in charge there, yeah, which was an interesting one for us because obviously we knew him from his Celtic days.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anyone's seen the video from the Cup win on Saturday, but he did actually strip off to his pants. He did do some press-ups in front of the MLS Cup. It was all a little bit dodgy, if you ask me, but he did do it. He said that if we won, he would do that, and lo and behold, he did. So
whatever floats his boat
about him, but whatever floats his boat, indeed.
So when are you next going to get back onto Scottish shores? You got any trips planned anytime soon?
Not sure. No, nothing at all. We're going to be over here for Christmas, actually. So depending on COVID, hopefully sort of the first quarter of next year we'll be back, which will be good. Because not only do I miss my Sainties, but I miss the family, I miss my friends and things like that as well. It is tough living 3,000 miles away, especially through COVID. So hopefully early next year. I might see you again.
I know, exactly. And in New York as well, there's not really much happening there. It's pretty boring. You'll be
pretty dull.
You'll be at a loss, won't you? There most of the time.
Yeah, I'm really not sure. When I come to Perth, the bright lights, it's just so different. Yeah, New York's an amazing place. It's dirty, it's grimy, it's smelly, but there's just something about it that it's we've really loved our time over here. Perth will always be home, but New York's not a bad second best. Well
said and well put. And Niki, thank you so much for coming on to speak to us. So thanks again, Niki, and no problem at all. And you keep subscribing, international subscriber. We'll get Stephen Watt to give you a wee shout out next week.
Thank you very much. All these shout outs will be getting too big for my boots.
Like ourselves, you'll fit in just fine. Niki, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. And we'll see you again.
Anytime. Take care. Thanks.
Cheers, Niki.
Bye.
Well, that's a great start to that feature, I feel.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And in a nation of gun-toting maniacs, it's nice to know there's a real gem of a person like Niki there, and that person supports Saints.
Exactly right. Did you see that photo, the family photo of all the family holding guns outside the Christmas tree?
Losers, man.
Anyway, shall we move on again?
Let's.
But before we do, just want to thank Niki for coming on and speaking to us to try and get the hell of a time difference as well. So really appreciate Niki coming on. And if you live outside of UK shores, come and speak to the boys. Get in touch with us. Let us know. We'd love to speak to you.
We would. And it's an absolute pleasure. It was a lovely start speaking to Niki. But we know there's more lovely places we can go. We know there's more. So if you want to have a chat, let us know what it's like supporting Saints from far-flung pleasant land. You get in touch with the boys. You come and let us know and we'll have a nice pleasant chat.
Brilliant. Well said, Daniel. Well said. Shall we speak to somebody else now?
Yeah, why not?
I think it's time for this. It's our headline act. It's our guest of the week. And this player joined St Johnstone in the mid to late 80s when we were still at Muirton Park under Alec Totten, scored this famous goal.
Says Mascray, he's away from Gillespie. And there's the header, Paul Cherry for St Johnstone. The goal's been coming for some time.
Oh, what a day that was, if everybody remembers that. You wouldn't might even been born, Dan.
I was either not born or I was, shitting in my pants. Which, to be fair, I'm 32 this week and still shitting my pants.
Yeah, you're 32 on Friday. Many happy returns for when it comes.
Oh, thank you very much, pal.
What else would you rather be doing?
I genuinely can't think of anything better.
No, and for a new lockdown just around the corner, we thought we might have been out with it after 42 episodes, but no, we are still here.
We go again.
So, we have got a superstar guest on. He's out of the country as well. He's not in the UK. We're not going to speak to anybody in Perth, Edinburgh, New York, and now we're off to Murcia in Spain to speak to a bona fide St Johnstone cult hero.
Yeah, I mean, yet another player from that era, from the sort of Alex Totten era, that's hugely well thought of, hugely revered by supporters. A thoroughly good person with many a story to tell.
And he is going to regale us of all his tales. Again, we apologise for the sound quality a little bit. He lives in a big mansion and he's very, very echoey, but it is coherent. You can't understand what it is. But without further ado, the Dogger Saints podcast would love to welcome. It's Paul Cherry. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad at all, thanks.
Good.
That's one of my favourite strips you've got on.
I just threw this on. I was just lying around, so I thought I'd put it on for. I don't know whose it would have been. It was number 4. Who would that have been?
Yes. Well, it's normally 12.
One of the sub I don't know who I had number 4. I'll have to look through the old archives to see who that might have been. But thank you very much for joining us.
No, pleasure.
Good man. We'll cover basically your career with St Johnstone, a couple of the standout games for your time with us, players you played with, managers and the like, what you're up to now. But we'll just get straight into it. 222 appearances for Saints over a 6-year period. You love Perth. Obviously, it's a club that's it's close to your heart, St Johnstone.
Yes, no, it was a good move. I was part-time at Cowdenbeath, and then St Johnstone came in, and they made a big offer of £6,000 to Cowdenbeath, and fortunately Cowdenbeath accepted it, and I was on my way up to Muirton Park to meet up with the boys and Alec Totten.
Lovely, Dan.
Yeah, just on that move, Paul, did you notice a difference in stepping up from part-time to full-time football?
Well, when I actually signed with St Johnstone, we were all part-time. It was the last season in Muirton Park, so St Johnstone was still part-time. So there was no change to the training schedule for part-time players, which generally was a couple of nights a week, and obviously a game on the Saturday or during the midweek game. So there was no change there. But what I did notice was St Johnstone, and no disrespect to Cowdenbeath, but St Johnstone were a lot more professional. We would turn up at Muirton Park and all your training kit was laid out, whereas most part-time clubs, you're taking your own training kit to the training and then washing it yourself, or the wife's washing it. So it was a lot more professional, and what I think that did was it made the players feel more professional. And that's what Alec Totten and Bert Pate were trying to put across, is that we'll treat you professionally if you go about your job properly, and that's what happened. It always starts at the top. You know, if you've got a good manager there and they're setting the standards, then it lifts the whole club up, you know.
Yeah, exactly right. It was, well, obviously you moved in '88. A year later, we're moving into a new home at McDermott Park. That wouldn't have even started being built when you first joined, would it? Or were you aware of it being on the horizon? Or
we were aware of it being on the horizon. I think the planning permission had just been granted, and we knew that the following season we would be playing at McDermott Park, and that gave all the players a boost because, you know, the players, they wanted to be involved at the brand new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it was a win-win for the club. You know, Jeff Brown did the deal of the century there. You know, getting a brand new stadium and a bit of money in the bank as well. So big credit to Jeff for pulling that one off. So what we would do is we'd now and again pop up to see the stadium being built. And, you know, we'd get the customary team photo with the builders' helmets on.
I've seen it, yeah. It still does the rounds every now and again, that picture, yeah.
That's it.
I was saying, I think Roddy's still got his hard hat for when he does light duties round McDermott.
Yeah, well, me and Roddy go back a long way. You know, he's done very well. So big kudos to Big Roddy, you know.
He's some boy. Let's touch on some of the games. Obviously, you scored one of the vital goals in our promotion-winning game at Somerset Park. It's a game, people, I think we took about 5,000 down there that day. It was pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah, it was, you know, we were confident going down there. You know, the team was playing really well. And Ayr United was a difficult place to go for any team. But we were confident. We were scoring a lot of goals. And you know, Steve Maskery crossed the ball over. And it was one of them, take your hat off, thank you very much. You know, very easy header. So, but, you know, and then, you know, we went on to win that game, win the championship. And what I remember about that particular game, and anyone that was in the dressing room will always remember, we threw Bert Payton, the coach, into the bath. And unfortunately,
I know where this is going.
Yeah, nobody had checked the temperature of the bath. So Ayr United had actually filled that bath up with boiling hot water. So we've thrown Bert in. He's turned into a lobster and screaming like a lobster. And we had to pull him out. And I think his shell suit had melted, you know. But he was under pressure there. And but we got him back on the bus with his third-degree burns. And I always remember we were travelling up. We'd obviously stopped off for the customary crates of lager at the back of the bus. And it was just a one big sing-song. And Gary McGuinness, who, believe me, is not a chanter, he's not a singer, but he sang every verse of American Pie.
All 8 minutes.
In fact, it felt longer. I think we'd left Ayr and he was still singing at the time we went over the Bridgeton Bridge. So, good memories.
Yeah, I remember. Well, we had, like I said, we had Alec Totten on not too long ago, and he spoke fondly about that evening of what he can remember of it. I think it was a fairly big one. But you got promotion in the opening season. Some of the standout games, one particular against Aberdeen, which still goes down as the stuff of legends. Absolutely turning them over 5-0. Were you involved that day?
I was, yeah. There was, you know, we approached that game. We were semi-confident. You know, Aberdeen had a really good side, and you know, to win that game 5-0 was just unbelievable, because I always remember it was the old teletext on grandstand, and I think the majority of people who were watching grandstand or whatever that day, they probably thought, oh, somebody's got a printing error there for sure, you know. So I think the bookies were very, very happy with that result.
They've been absolutely delighted. The fact that it still gets talked about, 30 years on, pretty much over 30 years on, is still an incredible feat that we've managed to get a result like that. But your time at Saints, you obviously, there was some players that were coming through the ranks when you were there, considerably. Like Alan Preston was there, Jim Weir started their careers when you were there. Callum Davidson, I don't know whatever happened to him.
Yeah, no, the boy's done very well, and Callum was a top player, you know, and we used to call him Sporting Billy because he was good at every sport. And I always remember playing golf with Callum down at Dunblane, and I came off, I think it was about 2 over par. I had a good round, really good round, and Callum he absolutely spanked me. I think it was 4 under par. And I came off that course and I thought, what is this boy not good at? You know, he would be good at pool, and he was, you know, and he's a very intelligent guy, you know, so it's great to see boys come up through the system, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a young boy willing to learn, and you know, the important for young players is to increase your knowledge, because knowledge is the key. The more knowledge you have in any walk of life, then you know the chances of being successful are increased. But Callum's done well, and you know, he's having maybe a tough time just now. But every manager, Ferguson, you know, Solskjaer, they all have tough times, you know. So you know, I wish him all the best. I'm sure he'll do very, very well. His record's superb.
Exactly right. Well, with that there, you're still keeping an eye on results and that. Where are you exactly at the moment because obviously I know where you are, but for listeners may not, where are you currently in the world?
I am, well, the family, we're in the Murcia region of Spain, about an hour south of Alicante, and we've been over here nearly 17 years, so it's been a good move, you know, and you know, the climate today was about 18 centigrade. I was out on my bike, and you know, nice lifestyle. Only one life, so I want to enjoy it. You know, that's the important thing. You know.
Exactly right.
Sounds almost as good a move as Cowdenbeath to St Johnstone, Paul.
Correct.
Almost as good a move.
That's the name of your autobiography there, from Cowdenbeath to Murcia, the Paul Cherry story. There you go. I'll ghostwrite it for you. So for anybody who doesn't know, it's south between Valencia and Malaga, east coast?
We're about an hour south of Alicante.
Okay, that we are.
Yeah, so down that area. But no, I had great times at Sage. You know, the best player I ever played at St Johnstone with was Sergi Baltaccia. And Sergi was just a class above the rest, you know, quality. And we lived next door to each other, up in Suter Crescent, up the western edge. And Sergi at the time was sponsored by Robert Miller, ladder cars. So he would pick me up in the morning, and one particular morning I said to him, I says, "What did you do last night, Sergi?" And Sergi's English was very basic. He says, I watched television, Paul, with Olga, my wife. I don't understand. So I said, "Well, what were you watching?" He says, "I don't understand. We watch television, we get the translation book, no understand." So I said, "What time is that?" He said, "Paul, at 7 o'clock. I don't understand. My English no perfect, but I understand little, but television, no understand." I then realised that he was watching Grampian Gaelic TV. I says, "Big man, I don't understand as well, so you're okay."
You're fine there. We actually spoke to Sergi about maybe 2 months ago. We had him on the podcast. He's a gentleman of a man. His English is still terrible, but he's for a guy who's lived in the country for 35 years. But no, what a lovely guy he is. Had all the time in the world for us and chatted away. We signed. I'm going to send down. I've got another. Remember the Saints away top? I had kind of blue and black round it, like a way top round sleeve. I've got that one, so I'm going to. I text him saying, "Can I send this down for you to sign?" He went, "Yep, no problem at all," and I'll be happy to send it back to you. So what a bloody lovely guy he is. Yeah. So
he was quality, you know, and a lot of guys don't realise this, but Sergi would come into the gym and we'll have the medicine ball. Generally, the medicine ball is for doing your, you know, stomach exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Sergi would keep that medicine ball up for 40 times.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable. The closest player was Kenny Ward. he kept up, I think, 15 times, and he had thighs like tree stems, rewarding. But Sergey was just. That's what he got taught, I think, at Dynamo Kiev, winning the Cup Winners' Cup or whatever, But the great guy, But there's another guy, Kenny Ward. He did very well at Seychelles, scored in the game against Airdrie.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny moved to Dunfermline, and we were obviously I was marking him, and there was a 50-50. And unfortunately, he went right over the top of the ball trying to do me. But what actually happened, he broke his leg. So
wow.
he tried to break my leg, but he ended up breaking his leg. So a week later, I went down to visit him, and he lived in High Valleyfield, which is quite a rough area in Dunfermline. And I parked my car away from the house because I wanted to make sure my wheels would be there when I came back out. and I pressed the doorbell in Wardie's house, and his young boy, who's Kenny Jr. Kenny Jr. was about 5 years old, and he came to the door, and he opened the door, and wee Wardie, I heard him in the background. He says, "Kenny," he says, "who's at the door?" And his son, who's 5 years old, says, "It's the bastard that broke your leg, Dad."
Only in Dunfermline, only in Fife would you get language like that from a 5-year-old.
Exactly. And I think Wardie had obviously told the young boy, his son, before I was coming, whenever you open that door, this is what you've got to say. So we had a cup of tea, and it was just an unfortunate, tackle, and Wardie was out for a few weeks. But great guy, and he was a character in the dressing room. He had false teeth, so he had 2 false teeth. So whenever there was young players joining the club, "You want a cup of tea, son?" So the young boys would have a cup of tea, and when they got to the bottom of the tea, there was always Wardie's teeth.
Brilliant stuff. I don't know the management team and allowed it. Obviously, Alec Totten was your initial boss, and then we spoke to him at length about John McClelland. There was no love lost between the two of them. And how did you get on with John?
I got fine with John. He'd come and been a coach under Alex, and I think it was a difficult. Whoever took over after Alex was. After the success that Alec Totten had at the club, it was always going to be difficult. But John was good, honest guy. I wasn't saying I was a regular. I was in and out of the team with Big John, but very good coach. International player. So, but it was always going to be difficult for him. I wasn't surprised when he eventually moved on,
Yeah. Did he ever get a pre-season into him? Did he have to? Did you ever do the Canoe Hill sprints with him?
Yeah, well, we always used to do Canoe. Even Alec Totten started. Whenever I joined Johnstone, and I hate to say it, but I really enjoyed it because. I was a good runner, I was athletic, and I loved pre-season because that was my time. I said to Davy Henderson, who's now the Scotland physio, who was the physiotherapist, and it was interesting because I was in the treatment room and I said to Davy Henderson, I says, at pre-season training, the day that I see more backsides in front of me will be the day that I'll hang up my boots. Right, and I got a message from Kieran McInnesby about 6 months ago. Right, we were on LinkedIn, and I put something on, and Kieran said, "I'll always remember these words that you said in that in the change in the treatment room to Davy Henderson." He says, "I've done 23 pre-seasons now, Kieran, and I always remember when your phrase was, as soon as you see too many backsides in front of you, you'll know it's the time to go. But I enjoyed Canoe Hill, One of the guys who didn't was Big Roddy.
There's a shock.
We actually lost Roddy one training session up Canoe Hill. He thought he was taking a shortcut, and I think he ended up in a farmer's field and had to
shortcut.
To get the helicopter out of the search party. But at the end of the day, pre-season, no player generally likes pre-season training because it's going to be difficult. But pre-season is the most important part of the season because you've got to get a good level of fitness. And that, 3 or 4 weeks of really tough training gives you the foundation for that season. So, it's going to be difficult, but at the end of the day, it's the foundations that will determine how successful the individually and the team will be. So it's really important, that, if you're a fit team, then, if you can score goals in the last 5 minutes of games because of your fitness, then, that's what pre-season's there for. It's not enjoyable, but, we've all been physically sick. But, body, you've got to push your body to limits that you never knew existed in pre-season.
That's it. It can be a mental hurdle over a physical one if you can just keep pushing in your body. Amazing what your body can achieve. And your body at the moment is achieving massive things on the road bike.
Yeah, that's when I took up cycling 7 years ago, and the Murcia region, the climate's superb. So, and the roads are really good, and the cycling is very, very popular in Spain. So, no disrespect to motorists in the UK, but the Spanish motorists tend to have a bit more patience with cycling. So, yeah, I'm into my cycling in a big way, and just a few weeks ago, I went in for a time trial. It was the Murcia, which is a big region. The Murcia region is bigger than Perth and Kinross, it's probably twice as big.
Yeah.
So the Murcia Time Trial Championship was on, and I'd never done a time trial in my life, so I thought I'm going to go in for this because they have age groups, so I'm 50 to 60-year-old age group. So turned up at the track, and there was all these Spanish guys with aerodynamic helmets, aerodynamic time trial bike, and I've arrived. I've just got a normal road bike, normal helmet, and I've never done a time trial, so I was getting a bit nervous. It's a bit like a Scottish Cup semi-final against Rangers. We were getting a bit nervous, So I went up the ramp, and my main concern was going up the ramp was falling off my bike. But made it up there, and to cut a long story short, I won the time trial. So I became the Murcia time trial cycle champion for my age. So I'm on the podium. I think it's the first medal that I've had since I won this first division with St Johnstone. So I'm really proud. I've got my medal. I also get a jersey, a bit like the Tour de France, you get a yellow jersey. Well, the Murcia time trial champion, we get a red jersey with the Murcia, and it says Murcia champion. So whenever I go out my bike now in the local area, and if I'm cycling past a group of cyclists, the respect that you get is unbelievable, But the only thing is I've got to go fast because I can't be with the champion's jersey on and be slogging by. So whenever I put the jersey on, it's like I know it's going to be a difficult ride.
Yeah, that's it. It's a badge of honour, though.
Exactly. It's another chapter for the book, and it keeps you fit. And we've got a group of guys over here. We call ourselves the Crazy Gang Amigos, and all good, strong cyclists. And it makes up for the gap that's been left by leaving a football dressing room, because you always ask any ex-player, they always miss the camaraderie, the crack, as they say, in a dressing room. So we've got the equivalent on a cycling basis with the Crazy Gang Amigos,
Brilliant. That reminds me of the time, Dan. I think I may have told you this about, obviously, you were talking about the turning up with the aerodynamic helmets and their bike and stuff when I turned up at the Glasgow half marathon. I put in the wrong time. I said I could do it in 1 hour, 2 minutes instead of 2 hours, 10 minutes. So you obviously get a badge number or colour corresponding to where you should start, and they just keep ushering me forward. And I was basically standing at the front next to some Kenyan guys, and I was in a Saints top and a pair of shorts. So I was literally right on the starting line. My phone was picking the pop. They're all getting prepared, and I'm sitting reading text on my phone going, "You're on the telly, you're on the telly." I'm just like, hello. So I ran the first mile in about 6 minutes and then just died because I was trying to keep up with everybody. So basically I was sprinting. And then I just died in my backside.
Unfortunately, my internet dropped out there. That reminds me, Dan. But I caught the end of it, and essentially, I think you've obviously made a bit of a. Am I correct in thinking you made a bit of a dick of yourself?
Which is fairly common, yeah. But at least I got St Johnstone some TV coverage with me standing at the front. But anyway, that's it. I didn't win. Unfortunately, I didn't get a red jersey for that kind of nonsense. You're talking about the camaraderie with your cycling buddies. Do you still keep in touch with any of the guys you were playing with?
Now and again, now and again keep in contact with Alan Preston, who now runs the Stella football agency for Scotland. And when I moved to Spain, I sort of passed that on to Alan. Yeah,
you were involved in that, weren't you? Was it you set it up originally? Is that right?
Well, it was. I was when I stopped playing. I had a financial services company in Perth, an IFA business, independent financial advisor. Set up a football agency, and I was then approached by the Stella Group, who are based down in England, in London, and they wanted to get into the Scottish market. So basically, we set up the Stella Scotland agency. And we had about 60 players, boys like John Kennedy at Celtic, who had unfortunately, a bad injury, John Harmson as well, quite a few of the Saints, Aberdeen players as well. But Alan took that over, that'll be 16, 17 years ago. It's done really well, and it's great to see, he's looking after boys like Billy Gilmore. And, Alan's very professional, and he's been a good asset to the Stella Group as well. So great to see boys do well in life.
Alan's brilliant. We had Alan on, and he was on for about 2.5 hours with us. And some of the stories he has got is ridiculous. That we couldn't even put out half of them. He said, this one's just for you guys. It was like that, pause, and honestly, God, we were just sitting there like, it goes, You did what to who? I was like, oh God, it was some stories from the guy. He's obviously still keeps an eye on Saints as well. Cause I remember seeing him at the Scottish Cup final on the telly in 2014, and because it was Saints versus Dundee United, obviously, and he played for both teams. And they asked him, who do you want to win? He's like, without a doubt, I want St Johnstone to win. He said that they spent the best time in my career there. What is it about St Johnstone? Everybody we speak to has always said, and I don't think it's just for our benefit, they've said that their time at St Johnstone is the best of their career. What is it about the place that gives off that reaction?
I think that St Johnstone are a family club, and they've got a hardcore of genuine supporters who go in every week, whether they're in the third division or winning the Scottish Cup, etc. So. And the players appreciate that. So it's more, I would say St Johnstone is more of a personal club, football club, compared to a bigger club, where basically a supporter is just a number, they're just they're an income stream, whereas, the players really appreciate the support that they get from the fans at St Johnstone, and that's that's the thing, is that no disrespect, but St Johnstone are a club that unfortunately will lose their best players, but it's given players a great platform as well. And football is a business, and I know that Stevie Brown, etc. Supporters want to see the club do well. The chairman wants the club to do well. But the bottom line is you want a club to survive. And you've seen it happen so many times. Gretna's a perfect example. You've got to be very wary that don't spend money that you don't have, because you'll end up with a club that does not exist. And that's the thing. Jeff Brown ran that club superb. It was that was an example to chairman how to run a football club. Have an income stream that's coming in 7 days a week, not once every 2 weeks when there's a home match.
Mm-hmm.
And I always remember, and I said that to many people, I says, you would go into training, it was a wee bit morbid sometimes, because you would get the funerals coming in from the crematorium next door, and they've had the funeral, and then they're coming in for the drink and the wake, if you like. And the thing is, a lot of these people were supporters, so we try to cheer them up at the stressful time. But the bottom line, that was another income stream for the club.
Mm-hmm.
And
it still is.
It still is, exactly. So, the thing is that, the club, they can only spend what comes in. And it'd be great if there was 10,000 supporters at every home match, because I'm sure that money would be reinvested in the playing squad. But unfortunately, there's not. And, it's very difficult to get top quality players if you're not paying them the big wages. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Dan.
Yeah, just a quick one, really, Paul. You mentioned you've got into about Jeff and now Steve Brown and how they've run the club for business sense, but how important for you guys sort of involved in the club on a playing side or in whatever capacity? Because sort of managers come and go. You obviously played under three. How important on a personal front was having someone like Jeff at the head of the club?
Oh, well, I think Jeff was a godsend for St Johnstone, and without Jeff Brown, the club could have been out of the game, and so Jeff takes enormous credit for what he did, and it's a thankless task as well. It's supporters have short memories, and we all, you look at last season, that is just unbelievable. 2 or 3 months later, everyone's shouting at the board and shouting at the manager, etc. Short memories. So, but Jeff is he's the reason St Johnstone are there. He's the reason that the club have a superb stadium and have a team in the Premier League. So enormous credit goes to Jeff, and enormous credit goes to Steve Brown as well, and his board of directors. Guys like Charlie Fraser, etc. in the background, Big Roddy. Even down to the two women. It's a team. And it's a big team, and that's why players, whenever they go to St Johnstone, they realise that they are part of the team, and they've all got to give the best shot, because if you've got a small team, and one bad apple in that club, then the team just falters. And so that's why they've had the success, because they've all been there together. And ask any player, the best teams, the most successful teams, are the ones that have the team spirit, the never say die attitude, and working in the trenches, as the old saying goes, pulling for each other, and that's and that comes from the top. When you, because I always remember, you maybe recall this. There was a time that we weren't doing very well, and Paul Sturrock was the manager, and Jeff Brown was not happy. Obviously, the team was not doing well, and we were only training from say 9:30 in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So Jeff had said to Paul Sturrock, he says, look, I've got workers on building sites starting at 8 o'clock in the morning and finishing at 6. He says, I want you to do the same. So what happened is that Paul Sturrock had to keep us in until 5 o'clock. So on the Monday and the Tuesday, that was fine, because you would train in the morning, you would go back out in the afternoon and do extra work. But as you got closer to the games at the weekend, you couldn't train as much, on a Thursday or a Friday. So what we used to do was we would play pool competitions, or so we would play pool competitions, and then at 5 o'clock right, everyone can go home now, you know, and we play Trivial Pursuit, right? So, and we started winning games, right? So Jeff thought, this is superb. But Paul Sturrock was running out of things to keep us occupied. So eventually we went back to just sort of training maybe 2 afternoons extra. But I'll tell you what that did was it increased the general knowledge of the team. And also there was a few guys I think that went on to be the pub pool teams were trying to poach them.
Aye, I bet. But again, team spirit, that's it, keeping the boys bonded and stuff together like that. It's obviously going to benefit. It does have its positive things like that. We'll finish up very briefly. We're well aware that we're taking up loads of your time here. We're going to touch on last season very briefly. Will we ever see the like of that ever again?
I'd like to say yes, and
so would I. But
never say never. You know, and if you see any sheiks walking down South Street, looking for a bargain, you never know.
That's it.
So,
incredible stuff on it.
Yeah, you can't buy memories, and the people that witnessed, the supporters that witnessed last season will have these memories to pass down to their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, and for the players, when they were young boys playing in the public parks, that they never thought we'd achieve that. So all credit to all the team, from the chairman right down to tea women, for what the team achieved last year. And here's hoping, that'll happen again.
That's it. With obviously the positive and negatives out of that, negatives that nobody could be in the ground because of the whole COVID thing. But the positive, there's going to be thousands and thousands of stories out there now, other than I was at the game. Where were you when you watched that thing happen? So there's going to be thousands of different stories out there for fans, where they watched it, were they in a pub, were they with their friend's house, they weren't going to be on a holiday, unfortunately, but they weren't soaking up the sun like your good self, Paul. But very, very much appreciate your time. It's lovely speaking to you. Hope to see you in Perth. I know you were back very recently.
Yeah, we were back last week, first time for 2 years, so it was a surprise visit. So it was great meeting our son Chris in Abernethy, along with his wife Amanda and our granddaughter Ella, and my mother as well. So we surprised them. In fact, we ran into Chris's front garden, and I think he thought it was Raiders, so he was going to get a baseball bat. So that could have been. Where's Dad? Oh, he got mistaken, and he's in the PRI.
but at least Storm Arwen popped his wee head out to see you as well, which is nice. So
yeah, well, what was really nice is my daughter as well, Suzanne, had come over from Spain with her family. And Clara, who's 4 years old, obviously Spanish, and she had never seen snow. So when we woke up on the Saturday morning in Abernethy and there was snow, we got one big cheer from a wee Spanish girl. So,
yeah. One-off's fine, not a whole winter of it. You could live without that. Get me back to the sunshine.
Exactly.
Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for coming to speak to us tonight, and we'll hopefully see you very, very soon.
No, pleasure as well. Have a good time.
Thanks again, Paul. Cheers again, Paul. See you later, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, genuine top bloke here.
Oh, lovely. Absolutely lovely fella. And it was really pleasant chatting to him because he's just seems very, very content.
Oh, he's living the absolute dream, isn't he? To be fair.
Yeah.
Sun-kissed, massive. I've seen photos. I've stalked through his Instagram and through his Facebook, and he's got a pool and his big massive house and lives in Spain with his family. Not jealous whatsoever.
Goes pottering about on his bicycle.
Yeah, which he does all right on, to be fair.
Seems to do pretty well on it.
But hope you really enjoyed that. We thoroughly love speaking to Paul.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tremendous fella. Now, he mentioned there in that interview that he was, for his age group, the bicycle champion. Yeah. Now, I know a bloke from back home at one point for his age group was, the walk, like competitive walking. This guy was in the top 5, I think, in England for his age group.
For competitive walking?
I'm convinced he'd a bit... Sorry?
For competitive walking?
Yeah, I'm absolutely convinced that he would have been possibly number 1, if not pretty close. But he was costing himself time at every event because he'd take his fags with him and have a couple of stops on the way around.
There's not many sports you can have a fag. Darts is again another one, but we're not putting darts again in the best light. That's like 3 times now. Darts has taken a murky turn. Snooker, yeah, that used to be the thing. Everyone used to sit and have a wee fag.
Badminton, that's a very casual sport. I reckon you could light up while you were doing that.
I'm not too sure. Gail Eames, remember Gail Eames?
Oh, yeah.
She was with that long-haired fella, I think it was Athens in 2000. She's brilliant looking now.
Is she?
Yeah, she's in her maybe mid-40s, but she's tidy. Anyway.
Good.
As your eyes draw to your phone.
Yeah, well, you got one. You got to keep up with things. Hell's horses.
Yeah, she is.
Well, there we go.
It's all right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's keeping well, obviously.
She does not have a cigarette during badminton.
She does not.
No, she does not. But anyway, we've almost come to the end of our show this week. But before we do, we've already talked about the Rangers match. We've got another away match on Saturday, which is huge. We are away to Motherwell.
It's a big game, isn't it? Yeah, we're just desperate for a win. And if I'm being entirely honest, it seems more likely that we'll get a win at Fir Park than it does at Ibrox. But as I say, I don't think it was all doom and gloom coming out of the Aberdeen game. Admittedly, what you don't want is to hit Rangers away literally 3 or 4 days after a complete signal like that. So Motherwell were perfectly capable of getting a result. And Motherwell are another side who you don't really know which version of him is going to turn up.
They blow hot and cold, and hopefully that's Tony Watt. That guy never learns, does he? Like I was reading in the paper this week about how he might be wanting away. He's settled. So that's great news for us if he's his head's not there.
Yeah, because that's what happened to us. He got off to a great start, and then his head got turned, or he got it into his head that he wanted to go after about 3 weeks or something, and then he just was neither use nor ornament. But he seems to have a good thing going at Motherwell as well. I don't get that. He's playing well for them. He's even been, admittedly, probably a bit far-fetched, but his name's been possibly touted about for a Scotland recall. And his form's been good. I think he's vice-captain there as well. I've seen him wear the armband a few times.
Scored a cracker last week against Dundee United, and I think it was a Friday. I can't remember what day it was, but it was Peasendon with rain. But he scored an absolute thunderbath, so it was a beauty.
He's a great goal, but he just doesn't... He's his own worst enemy, isn't he, really? And he actually seems a decent guy, but he's just does some strange things.
Yeah, odd. But we might get something out of it. It's a pretty happy stomach. I remember a couple of seasons ago, that was the turning point where we lost 4-0. And after that, it all got a bit more successful. So, but we are, and I think we were bottom then as well.
I'd rather not lose 4-0 again, though. I'd rather not relive that day.
But we don't lose 4-0. We lost 3-0 to Livingston. And other than that, we've only lost by the odd goal in every other game.
Yeah, I know, but just thinking back to that day,
Bar Celtic, for somebody points out.
It was not 2-0. That was that day in 2019 at Fir Park. It was well cold. It was freezing. And we lost 4-0. But yeah, look, I think we're perfectly capable of going down there and getting a result. We'll see how Butterfield, or as I will now be calling him, the Butterman, or Butters, settles into, or Butters. See how he settles in. Yeah, it as I said last week, it could get worse before it gets better. And even bringing a load of players in January, still going to have to expect some teething troubles for them as the team sort of gels together. But I think it's just really important that we've got these games coming up thick and fast just to keep our heads above water and not to lose touch with not even County and Dundee or whoever, or Livy, but to actually try and get somewhere closer to Motherwell, to Aberdeen again. And then can kick on from there.
That's it. There's a lot of games coming thick and fast at the moment, but we've been in this situation before a few times, and I am more than confident we will get out of it again. We're not a million miles away.
We're not. As you keep saying very correctly, the defence is fine. We're not shipping goals. Xander's having the season of his life. Unfortunately, it's coming in an underperforming team. And I just look like we might be developing something in midfield again, or getting something back in midfield. We all know where the problems lie. Hopefully, something can change, but we're just going to have to have a little bit of faith and a little bit of maybe not patience, maybe that's not the right word, but a little bit of faith in the manager, a little bit of faith in the players, and hopefully we'll see where we are come January. We might have a clearer idea. I think we all know the problem areas in the side, but we've got a couple of new lads coming in the last couple of weeks. We might be able to focus on other areas come January.
Well said, well said. That wraps up for another week. That was interesting, Dan. We were riddled to the hilt with technical issues this week.
Yeah, it was it was a tricky one this week, so I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yes, and if you like us talking nonsense, we'll have to as well plug that our first birthday party is coming up very soon as well, the first weekend in February at the Dogger. Now, we'll put invites out very soon. We are having a big St. Johnstone quiz, and we have got some hell of prizes lined up for that one.
Oh, they're good.
They are good. And all the money is getting split between the Railway Staff Club, Fabric Fund, and Saints New Community as well. But as I say, it is a quiz, but it's a quiz with a difference, Dan.
Yes.
We're not going to give any more away than that.
Well, it's got to be Saints related.
It is, but it's not going to be 100 questions on St. Johnstone's stats, facts, figures, ex-players and that. They'll all be rounds like a normal quiz, but they'll all be tied in with St. Johnstone. We'll do a music round, but it will be St. Johnstone based. So it'll be great, and we'll get the invites out soon. We all hope you can join. We might even get a cake.
Oh, that'll be good.
It was weak. So if you've listened to the podcast, if you listen to any of the podcasts, we would love you to come along and join in for the night.
Sam, can I have a request?
Go on.
No fruitcake.
You don't like fruit? Oh, I'll tell you what I forgot to start. I've got all the ingredients. My Christmas pudding. I never made one.
Did you not do it?
No, I've got all the cake. I've got all the ingredients and sultanas and that there, but it's not part of my new healthy regime.
There we go.
Yeah, let's talk no more of diets and food. But thank you again for joining us this week. We'll be back next week. We'll have another superb guest for you to feast your ears around. Hopefully.
That'd be good. I like how there was a hopefully on the end there. As I was coming in, I was continuing the black. I just said, that'd be brilliant.
Oh, I got another confirmation today of somebody who wants to join or wants to come and speak to us, which is good. Another 90s early mainstay, which would be nice.
Tremendous. We do love the 90s.
Oh, we do love the 90s, and we love you guys for listening. So please, any feedback on the show, let us know, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Thanks for all your kind comments through the week again. And just get in touch with us or anything if need be. So, yeah, thanks again, everyone. Bye.
Bye.